I'd like to shift now the focus from maybe more of the commercial side and smart buildings to smart homes. And so I'm going to ask David to join us for this particular panel. And so, one of the things in this is that in many ways there's a lot of overlap. And the reason why I put buildings, smart building and smart home right after each other, and why I think Simon is here as well, is in many ways there's a lot of overlap between sort of commercial grade solutions and what we for smart buildings and what we think about in terms of consumer grade solutions for, let's say, the smart home. So, and you probably recognize this as you were thinking about the mesh specification work that you were involved in. So as part of your intro, and maybe you just do it as a re-intro, and I'll let David go first, but is how are smart homes and smart buildings similar? And then how are they different? And when we think about the technology, if they're different, how should we be thinking about the technology in those differences?
Yeah, so I'm David Grove. I'm the Director of Sales for Cassia Networks. And for us at Cassia, we've brought what we call Bluetooth networking to the IoT. So we develop long-range Bluetooth gateways, lots of simultaneous Bluetooth connections, and long-range capability. And I think for us, as we look at Bluetooth and smart buildings and smart homes, because we focus really on that connectivity piece. We don't do devices, we don't do applications. For us, we focus on connectivity, and so there really is a huge amount of overlap between the two in terms of the types of use cases that we see and that we deal with every day. So, as an example, let's say you have Joe that wakes up in the morning and walks over and stands on his Bluetooth scale in his home and takes his blood pressure with a Bluetooth blood pressure cuff, pulse oximetry, maybe his glucometer. All of that medical data from his Bluetooth medical devices seamlessly back to his doctor through a gateway, right? And then he gets in his car and he starts listening to music through his Bluetooth phone, Bluetooth connection, and maybe he's making calls via Bluetooth, right? Then he gets into the office and he works in a manufacturing facility, and as soon as he walks in, he's got a data that's displaying all the vibration analysis that's coming off of his machines that are running 24/7, right? So he can see predictive maintenance and all of those things. And in the morning, he put a tri-tip in his Bluetooth smoker at his house that he can keep track of all day long while he's got 8 hours worth of smoke time on his tri-tip while he's at work. So we see a huge amount of overlap between the two, depending on the use case. But really, if you focus on purely that connectivity layer, whether it's in the home or whether it's in a commercial building, really for us, it's the same type of approach of really providing that layer of connectivity between the Bluetooth devices and those applications in the cloud that need all of that information.
Very good.
Okay, so once again, Simon Slupik, Silver. Silver is a professional lighting control software company. So we use Bluetooth Mesh, and we provide software for components, and we provide a platform for managing smart lighting systems. Now, we do that for professional commercial markets. Now we are talking about the overlap with home. It's the same technology. It's exactly the same technology. What's different is packaging. It's like a combustion engine. It's the same in trucks, it's the same in scooters, but they are totally different products. So that's where the difference comes. So professional or commercial light source, it consists of a LED light source, LED panel, then it has a driver, which is a power supply that can be controlled, and in some cases it has a sensor port, in some cases it may have a wireless connectivity bridge built in. Now at home, we are still in the era when we refer to light sources as light bulbs, right? They don't exist in commercial spaces, so again, the technology is the same, but packaged differently. And that's why you cannot really address with a single product both markets. It's not possible because you would be selling a scooter that's combined with a truck, which just doesn't work. But the technology, once it's designed for use in commercial and industrial, of course, it's fully applicable to home.
Right.
And that technology came from residential personal use cases. Like the original markets for Bluetooth has been all personal. So now we are looping the circles, so to say, because
right.
like with Mesh, we went way over to commercial, high scale, high reliability, high scalability installations. But then, of course, we are capable of coming back and servicing homes.
Yeah. Well, maybe explore that a little bit more, because I know that the mesh specification, when we think about how it was being delivered, and you were obviously a significant part of delivering the mesh specification for Bluetooth, it was designed more for the commercial grade solutions, or it was designed at a level to accommodate commercial grade solutions. So how flexible is the specification? How flexible is the technology to scale from a smart home to a commercial, or from a commercial down to a smart home solution?
It's fully capable of delivering a smart home. And I think today, again, Bluetooth Mesh is a very new thing. It's just 4 months old baby, right?
Right.
It's been in the works for 3 or 4 years, but now it's born and it's really young. So like probably smart home vendors, they haven't been able to address or manufacture products based on that technology because it was not on the market yet.
Right.
Not available. So they were looking for some other alternatives like Wi-Fi or like other mesh technologies. But today, I'd say Bluetooth Mesh is a perfect candidate for servicing home, because like it covers like no issue with coverage because we have hops, we have long range. Cassia has been pioneering that effort, and we have a fully defined application layer, which is very important. It guarantees this full interoperability that Bluetooth, it's been a cornerstone for Bluetooth for years, and Mesh continues with that, of course, and that enables end users to go to a store, buy any product, and be sure that those products will be working together, like audio products are doing today, right? If you go for a market for wireless headset, do you worry about whether this particular model would work with your phone? Never. It just works. So it's the same concept in Mesh, and it's very applicable to the home market, which needs this level of democracy, I'd say.
So David, I know that Cassia has participated or works both in commercial markets as well as in smart home markets. So how are you leveraging your experience in both of those markets to deliver solutions into the smart home?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an interesting question, and again, because there's so much crossover, what we see is that, there are, I think the differences, like Simon said, are really in the application of the technology, right? So we have, we work with pump manufacturers as an example that are putting Bluetooth modules on those pumps to monitor the vibration patterns for predictive maintenance, right? And they're selling those into industrial environments, but they also have consumer grade versions that they're putting, as a sump pump in somebody's house, or some sort of, HVAC system component, and they still being able to view those things and provide predictive analytics for their customers. So, we've been taking a lot of learnings that we have from the enterprise and industrial and medical side of things that we're doing and applying those to some of the partners that we're working with on the home side. I think for us, Mesh is also going to be very important. We're working on implementing that into our gateways as we speak. And, we've had a star topology to date and had to work with those custom Bluetooth profiles for each of those manufacturers. And I think, going forward with some of the things that they're doing with Mesh, as we implement that into our gateways, that'll be a big help, for sure.
Okay. So the smart home, I was trying to figure out how to phrase this particular one, but the smart home has been a dream. I swear I've been talking about the smart home for 10 plus years or so, and so how is the market potential different now versus what it may have been in the past for delivering on some of the smart home opportunities and potential that maybe is out in the market?
So I think that, again, thanks to Bluetooth Mesh, we have an obvious candidate for the underlying technology. Now, it's a huge opportunity now for product companies to take that technology and build smart home products on top of that, because it's really the best wireless for that application that you can imagine, and it's such a huge opportunity for product and smart home platform companies to take from that and extend that concept, to build the whole experience around it. So Bluetooth always wants to enable product innovation. So we create standards to enable product innovation. So look how many audio products you have today on the market, like
Yeah.
every color, every combination, like so many available. For smart homes, this hasn't happened yet because really we haven't had a standard or the standard that really bridges them all together. Once we have that, which I believe we do now with Mesh, it's all, I believe it's already started within those product companies.
Okay.
I believe there are many working on those home products, and we should be seeing the fruits of that soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree completely. I mean, I think, if you looked 5 years ago even, there were a lot of people, there were a lot of other protocols that people were using to try to do things like Mesh because it didn't exist for Bluetooth yet. And so I think you saw a greater proliferation of different types of technologies that people were trying to build products around for smart home. But I think now with the advancements in the mesh side of things, what we're bringing to the table with long range capability, I think Bluetooth now has the ability to solve all of those issues in the smart home from a connectivity and an RF standpoint that maybe had some issues with in the past. So now that we're there at that level, like Simon said with mesh and the other things that we're doing, I think you're going to see a great convergence in everybody standardizing around Bluetooth to provide those types of solutions for connectivity in the home, for sure.
So we talked about the different roles that different connectivity models can play. Do you see the smart home adopting all of these different connectivity models from point to point to broadcasting on into mesh? Do you see them all working together in different solutions for the smart home?
Of course. So some of those topologies are already there, like point to point, all your accessories that are part of a smart home experience. They are wireless, long living on tiny batteries or even self-powered, mice, keyboards, temperature sensors like scales, bathroom scales. We've had them for many years now. Beacons and asset tags. People have been using them for home applications for a couple of years now, like fobs that you attach to your keys, fobs that you attach, exactly, asset trackers
Right.
application. They are point multi-point. And now Mesh comes to complete that picture. So there's definitely a room and there's definitely an application for each of those topologies. And again, the beauty is that a single Bluetooth chip can support all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a huge advantage because this way you can enable a thing to have multiple faces, multiple use cases, multiple applications, the same physical object.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that any better. I mean, it's, I heard somebody say once that IoT is a team sport, right? And I think that's very true, whether it's a team sport in terms of the applications or the different types of connectivity solutions. But I think you're going to see or continue to see all of those different options in the smart home all come together to provide the right type of outcome that people are looking for in those applications. Okay. Yeah, and it's absolutely right.
Yeah, so maybe the last question to ask before we invite everybody back up for Q&A is, what do you think the role of voice control is going to ultimately play in the smart home? How does that fit into some of the plans for what a smart home can actually be?
Smart homes have to be natural. They cannot be like sci-fi, push a button to do anything type of application. They have to simply extend the natural way people communicate, so voice control is definitely playing a key role there. It's also about, this kind of anticipatory nature of those applications that it's not only about saying or speaking commands. It's all about devices silently around you trying to anticipate what you're after and helping you with this better life. Smart homes today, they have been a little awkward to some people. So we've seen adoption with the early adopters and enthusiasts, but we haven't seen really mass scale adoption, and that's because those technologies need to be more human friendly. And voice, of course, is a very, very important step to get there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think you have a lot of early adopters that are very excited about voice control right now, and I think there's also a large portion of the population that's still waiting to see kind of how that all comes together.
Yeah.
We've done some interesting things at Cassia with using the Amazon and being able to speak to Alexa and then have Alexa communicate through the cloud to our gateway and convert that into Bluetooth commands to send out to a Bluetooth device to actually control that Bluetooth device. So I think there's some interesting possibilities there, and I think that we'll see a lot of really cool things happen over the next few years, I'm sure. But I think I'm still interested to see how it's all going to play out.